Hi everyone, Kim here for Treasurely Kit Club. If you want to see how I created this cute little sled using our November mixed media kit, then stick around. But before we jump into this tutorial, make sure you hit the like button below and make sure that you subscribe so that you are notified every time we upload a brand new video. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into this tutorial. Okay, first what I've got here, okay, so I've got all the parts laid out. And we're going to go through a real quick putting this together before I decorate it. I'm going to put it together, show you how to put it together, and then I'm going to go ahead and take it apart and start decorating it because I want to paint it before I put it together, but I want to show you how to put it together first. So I'm going to take one side of the sled and I'm going to flip it over because I'm going to attach everything to one side first, and then I'm going to start with the base of it. And as you can see, there's two holes here, so that's going to go into there like that. I've also got my trusty little hammer here to help me. The next piece is the back piece. You see you've got two more little holes here, and so I'm going to take the back piece and those are going to go in. And see, this is why I have my trusty little hammer, because sometimes you have to give it a little bit of help. Back pieces. The high back piece, and it's going to go here and up here. And just give that a little push and a tap in. Alright, so we're almost there. The bottom piece is here. Now you want these two longer pieces to be on the top, but it's going to go in the front. These last two holes here, you've got one here and you've got one here. So inside we go. That more of a little push. Okay, so this looks a little weird at first. Remember, we've only got half of it done. And then I'm going to take my other side and I'm going to line up and just start inserting into those matching holes. This is fairly easy to put together. We've had some that have been a little more complicated. The hardest part is just getting everything lined up all at the same time, which we've now got. And oops, that one wasn't. And just giving everything a little tap in. Okay, so everything's all lined up. So we're going to set that apart. Now, time to deal with our little reindeer. As you can see, they've got a little hole in the center, and you're going to take this one single piece of wood stick and it's going to go right in the center of your reindeer for all three of them. I'm going to go ahead and slide them on, and then you can space them however you like. Best to try and space them before you attach this. Alrighty. So I've got them spaced. Now you're going to take, you've got two pieces like this. You're going to take one side and you're going to attach it. Whoop. And you're going to attach the other side. Alright, all attached. So this is what you've got. You've got your reindeer. Well, the best way to do that. So you've got your reindeer there. and you've got your two chats aside. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your sled. In the front part, remember you put that piece in that had the extra long tabs. So you've got a piece sticking out on this side, and you've got a piece sticking out on this side. And you're going to attach those on the outside with these little holes. And remember, you're going to be gluing all this together. I'm not using glue right now because I'm just giving you a quick tutorial on on putting this together. And you're just going to pop those right on. And there you have it. Our sled is all put together, and then you can just go ahead and adjust your reindeer however you like them. But there you have it. Your sled is all put together, and now you've got this nice little open area that you can turn into a candy dish. You could put like some moss in here. That would be really nice, some green moss. Or you could toss some pine cones in and then toss some candy in on that. But this is your sled all put together. You see how simple that was? And then remember, when you're putting this together, don't forget to put the glue on your tabs so this holds together. Although it is pretty stable right now. Now, if you're thinking about taking this apart and for storage for the winter, then don't glue it, and it should still hold up. But if you want to keep this in one piece to store, then make sure you glue everything except for your reindeers, because you want to be able to adjust your reindeers. You're not going to glue them. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and take this apart, and then we're going to move into decorating this and then putting it all back together. So we'll be right back. Alright, I'm going to start with the bigger pieces first, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and paint these. I've got some burn marks on mine from just all the cutting that I did, so I want to paint just the underside of these. I like to have, you know, because you're going to be able to see it, so I'd like to have it all painted. And I'm going to paint them with the metallic silver that comes in the kit. So we're going to go ahead and get this open, and I'm going to give it a good shake, only because it's a metallic color and I want to make sure that everything is all mixed up in there. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a shake, and then I'm going to squirt some out in my tray and close that up, only because I am clumsy and I don't want to spill anything. So I'm going to take some, just to see how opaque it is. And depending on your preference, because this is not very opaque, you may want to add 2 coats to this. And fortunately, this paint dries pretty quick, especially if you're doing a light coat. So you'll be able to, by the time you're done with your last piece, your first piece should be done. And actually, you may want to avoid the tabs. I didn't on those first ones, but it's a thin coat. But yeah, you may want to avoid painting your tabs, only because it may make it a little harder for you to put this together once you're done. So that's my first coat on that. I'm going to set it aside, let it dry, and I'm going to move on to the next piece. And this is all that we're going to be doing, is painting this under. Okay, the first coat is done, and this one is dry, so back to it. Get my second coat in real quick. There's my second coat, and I'm happy with 2 coats, so that's alright. right, so I'm just going back through to make sure that, you know, the little crevices I've gotten all the paint out of. Okay, so now all these pieces are done on the outside, and I did 2 coats and I'm happy with it. We're going to set that aside for a minute, and we're going to switch gears here for our deers and their little housing. And what I'm going to do for our deers is I'm going to use some of this Distress Oxide spray in walnut stain. This is from leftovers from our advent calendar kit. So I'm going to go ahead and shake this up, and I'm just going to use a paintbrush and dip it directly into the Distress stain. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do the body of the deer, our reindeer, and I will be doing both sides because remember, you're going to be able to see both sides of our reindeer. And I'm just doing the body because I've got something different for their antlers. If you get a little bit up there, that's fine. Don't worry about it. It's going to get covered again with what I've got for their antlers. But again, like I said, you're doing both sides because remember, so that's all covered. Let's close that up. And then I'm going to take a little bit of Distress stain, and it's in tarnished brass, but it comes out to be a really nice gold color. And I'm going to use this for their antlers. And I'm going to just dip my brush and go right in. About not worrying about if you got some of the brown paint on the antlers because this covered it right up. They just blended right together. So we're going to sit those down to dry. I'm going to cover this up. And now we need to deal with their harness. And for their harness, I am going to take the black metallic wax that we got in the kit, and I'm just going to open that up, and I am going to grab a small stipple brush. Yeah, I should have covered my dust. I'm ruining my dust. I'm going to take the stipple brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and stipple this. This is supposed to be black, but it looks like it's coming out like a blue gray metallic-y color, but that's fine. It's giving me a nice dark color. Which is fine. And I'm using this product on the harness because remember, the harness has to go into, it's got to fit into the little holes, and everything's got to fit on this. We are done with that. So we're going to go ahead and close that up. And like I said, we are done with these. So actually we can go ahead and slide these together and set it aside. Alright, so this is all put together, and I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to set these 2 pieces aside because we are done with those. Next up, we are back to our sled, and it's time to do the flip side. And I think just for a little contrast, instead of painting the inside of my seat silver, I'm going to go back in with the wax. And on this side, I don't mind getting the tabs wax on them because again, this is not a wet product. Okay, so that is the inside of that, and I think it looks great. So I'm going to go ahead and set that aside for a moment. And I'm going to go back to our sled. Now, our sled, it's time to flip it over and do the outside portions of it. The inside portions are done. And I'm going to start with my red paint. And this is also a metallic red that's in the kit. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a shake. And we're just going to pour some out. Go back, get my brush, the same brush I used for the silver. I'm going to dry that off. And I want to paint the top part of the sled. So I'm only going to go to across here because I want the bottom part of the sled to be a different color. I'm going to go ahead and give that, start painting that top part. And from the looks of it, it's going to need 2 coats. Oh, got something stuck in there. But this is where we're at so far. On camera, it may be coming across a little orangey, but it's a really pretty red with the silver shimmer in it. So it's working out perfectly for this. And again, there we are. And I'm going to go back to our first one. And it's going to get a second coat. Okay, and now that's got our second coat. Now let's move on to our other pieces. They are going to get painted red as well. And again, try and remember to avoid your tabs. Alrighty. Time to go back in with the second coat. I need just a little more paint. That was too much, but oh well. What are you gonna do? And get that second coat on. Okay, so we've got all that painted. Now it's time to get the bottom painted. And what I'm going to do with the bottom is I'm going to go over this with some silver. First, I'm going to do one coat with just silver. And then I'm going to come back in with my second coat. And we're going to have some fun with, again, another one of the mediums in the kit. Let me get this all rinsed out and cleaned up. Oh, there it is. I dropped my towel. Let me get all the red paint out of here. And so now we're going to come in to the bottom with some silver. See if I can get that a little flatter. This is just like our base coat. we've got quite a few more coats coming. Now, we've got some texture powder in our kit. And if you don't know what texture powder is, what you can do is you can add this to your mediums, your liquid mediums, to give them a little more texture. And that's what we're getting ready to do now for our next layer. I'm going to take the texture powder and get that open. And we're going to take a scoop of this. Well, not even a full scoop. We're going to take some of that. I'm going to dump it into my tray. Here, let's slide those pieces out of the way because we won't be working with those. We're only working with the bottom part of our sled now. So I took that texture paste and I put some into my tray. And yep, you guessed it. We're going to go ahead and add some of the silver paint to it, and we're going to mix that up. You hear the grittiness? And if it's not as thick as I want it, then I'm going to go ahead in and I'm going to add a little bit more. I can hear the grittiness, but I want it a little bit thicker. So that's the fun thing about it. I can just go ahead in and add a little bit more. And then I'm going to mix it. And so now you see I've got a thicker, grittier paint. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my paintbrush and I'm going to go back to my sled, and across the bottom I'm going to tap this in. Well, actually what I'm going to do is make a mess here. But now I'm going to tap this on for more texture. And you see with the texture paste, the paint has also become a little more opaque. And that's kind of what we wanted. And I wanted it to be a little more grittier. You know how the bottom of a sled should be. You know what your tires look like once you've been driving through snow and all that. And so I wanted to try and mimic that gritty, grungy, snow-covered effect here. And so that's what I did with the texture paste. And I'm just lightly tapping it in. And I could have made this thicker, but I'm happy with the consistency that I got. Pretty much all. Now, because you've got texture on here, this one's going to take a little bit longer to dry. I've got a little bit left. I think I'll just punch this up a little bit. Alright, we're going to set that aside. And what I'm going to do is, just to speed this up, is I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm going to go ahead and dry this. Okay, so everything is all dried, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the wax and I'm going to grab some on my finger and I'm going to lightly go over the texture a little bit. Okay, so we're back. I went on ahead and put mine together, and this is how it looks so far, and that's the texture once it dried, and then I rubbed it with the metallic wax. Now it's time to decorate it real quick. We've got these 2 wreaths in the kit, and we've got these bells, and what I did was I attached some invisible cord that I have to 4 of the bells, and it's hard to see, but I took the, where is it, the tarnished brass distress stain, and I just took a brush and added some splatters to my wreaths. Now I'm going to attach the wreath with some of the invisible cord as well. And I'm just going to take some through the wreath, and I'm going to take it through this hole in the front of the sled. I'll turn it up this way so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to tie that. I haven't tightened it yet because I want to adjust this the way I want it. So I've got that on the back. Now, next thing I'm going to do real quick is I've got my reindeer here, and of course I couldn't resist. I need to customize my reindeer. So I pulled out some little black pearls so we can give them some little eyes. So I'm just going to take this, give them some little eyes right there. So now you see our reindeer, they've got eyes on both sides, and our one in the middle has a little red nose. Couldn't help myself. Alright, so now it's time to go ahead and attach them. Oh, let me get them adjusted. Let me go ahead, add our pieces. I've got so much junk in the way, it's a wonder you can see anything. There's our little sled. Okay, I almost completely forgot. We've got this diamond dust. It's all sparkly in our kit. And so what I'm going to do is take some soft gloss gel, and I'm going to go down to the bottom of my sled with some soft gloss gel. And I'm using this because it dries clear, but it's strong enough to hold the diamond dust on. And then I'm going to take my little scoop again, and I'm going to drop the diamond dust all over the bottom of the sled to give it some shimmer. Down on the bottom. So there you see it. Once it dries, we'll have like snow shimmer on there. But this has been our December mixed media kit project. I hope you enjoyed it. Aside from my mess that I made, I hope you enjoyed following along with me, and I hope you enjoy making yours as well. So you can find this on our website at www.trejoliekits.com, and just go under kits, under our mixed media kits, and if there's some available, it will be listed there for sale. And again, I hope you enjoyed this. This has been Kim for Trey Jolie Kit Club. Merry Christmas to everyone, and hope you have a safe and happy New Year. Bye.